came to me and said, we've got this idea of, of bringing on this new character. It's a rock star. How would you feel about it? And, he looks like Noah, and their lives get involved with each other. And, at first I was kind of going, it's pretty strange. But then the more I thought about it, and once I said yeah, I finally said yeah. And they started writing some pretty funny stuff, and it started to become, it's real fun. I'm going to actually now, Noah's character says it's going to be hard to let go of the lifestyle. For me as an actor, it's going to be hard to let go of that character because he's a lot of fun. He's so different from the Noah Drake character. And it's been actually a lot of fun to play. Really enjoy it. I was already getting a lot of people saying, he's just a soap opera guy who got someone gave him a song and he went in the studio and got lucky, So I was already fighting that whole thing, and so it just wasn't appropriate for me to do that. Now, especially with the music industry the way it is, it's just a mess, And I mean, it's hardly any radio anymore. There's like 3 record companies. I don't know what it'd be like for my kids were getting. I have both musicians, but they also do other things. It's such a bizarre field now. I don't know what I do as a new artist, So everyone's doing everything they can. They're going on Home Shopping Network, or they're signing up with beer companies or whatever to get their new music, get attention drawn to their new music. And this seemed like an honest way for me to do it because it's a character I've been playing. I played 25 years ago, and it's not like I'm walking in going, hey, get me a part that's a rock star so I can display my new music, But it's kind of an organic thing, and I think it's going to be a very, very cool thing. I want him to be a real guy, not. I mean, he's obviously, I don't wear the chains and all this kind of stuff, but there's a certain feel, a certain type of character of rock guy, the Keith Richards, the guy who's the perennial rock star guy, it was that kind of image, and I do it with an Australian accent too, which makes me act differently. I mean, I'm a very different person with an Australian accent, and so so that was the kind of within what they write, that's the kind of approach I took. I think probably the strongest memory of first being on General Hospital was the power of television, because up until then, I'd never done anything regular on anything. Music, I had like 3 years between every record deal. I'd done guest starring spots, and between 1 month and then a break and then something else. So it was the first time I'd been on regularly, and it took 2 weeks for me to be walking down my local street where I used to live, and no one noticing me, and then 2 weeks later, truly, people turning their heads and that, and I knew it wasn't because I suddenly got better looking. I knew it was the show, and I suddenly said, wow, this is a pretty powerful show. I had no idea. Nobody really knew how big it was or how big it was going to get that summer. Certainly became, probably the most talked about show on television through that summer, and I was just lucky enough to wander onto the set at the right time, A lot of the kids who listened to the music started watching the show, and I remember some fans saying, there was these 2 people there was this guy on the soap opera, and then there was this great song I was hearing on the radio, and then one day I went, oh, that's the same guy. So I think there was a lot of that, and I think it brought them together, and it was very powerful. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, it definitely had a downside to it, but it was a very powerful thing. And I just, again, it was nothing I planned. I just had a record ready to go. The record company was a guitar-oriented rock pop record that they didn't know what to do because it was all disco and ballads, and they kept holding it and kept holding it and kept holding it. I thought they'd never release it, and then I said, well, I'm going to take this soap opera show that's been offered me because I need to make some money somehow, and then it turned out to be the right soap opera, and they finally released a record, and it happened to be the right record just as radio was changing. It was ready to start hearing guitars and rock on the radio again.